Hello guys and welcome back to Watching Time. Today I am going to present to you what, in my opinion, so this is my humble opinion, are the free watches from 2023 from Seiko. The ones that touch me the most and probably will remain from my point of view and perspective in the history of 2023. And not by a chance, I have actually added the three of them to my collection. So we have three different watches here, and the three of them are actually re-editions. So my overall conclusion around Seiko and the development during 2023 is that re-editions have been a major thing going on that has returned a lot in terms of recognition of what they are doing. There's still one watch that I would like definitely to see being re-editioned. It's the Seiko Poke. So that's something I'm waiting for, and I suppose they will do it sometime soon when the anniversary comes. So for the time being, we have three watches that are actually quite unique in its own and have made the history of it. So for the ones of you that doesn't want to see a video of 10 minutes of me just chatting with the watches, this is the time that I reveal that this is the Landmaster. It's a beautiful piece, the Seiko King that lost compared to the Grand Seiko when they were trying to define them higher tier luxury mark, and the Seiko Navigator, the one with the GMT hand, which is also a piece of history from Seiko. So that's it. If you want to leave now, happy to have you. If you want to stay and just hear me chatting a little bit, please remain. So we're going to start probably with the one that's in the middle and one that has touched me quite a bit in terms of how surprised I was. So the Landmaster is a watch that I know. I have the Spring Drive Landmaster. There have been many editions since its first launch. So we're talking about a 30-year anniversary. 30 years ago, well, now 31 years ago, the Landmaster was launched, and they have redone this 2023 edition in a very similar kit to the original one. Of course, it is not exactly the same case, and definitely it's not exactly the same material. This is a full titanium diashield treated watch. So we are having modernity here compared to the original piece. We are having a modern material that Seiko knows how to use very well, very well in its Grand Seiko line. We have this Landmaster model. It's only 1,000 watches, so it's not that much, limited edition. The code for the fans of codes is SLA071J1, and as I was saying, it's not fancy in terms of GMTs. For example, the spring drive that I have, it's a GMT movement. It has the caliber 8L35, which is actually a Grand Seiko movement. So the 8L35 has been used in many years in the several Grand Seiko watches. So it's definitely a very good movement. It has, according to them, plus 15 minus 10 seconds a day, but actually it goes in around plus minus 5, which is very well. We have a beautiful dial, and they have done a dial that I can only compare to Grand Seiko, in the sense that I have the Snowflake in my collection, and Grand Seiko dials are gorgeous, and you have a lot of different options to choose. This one definitely enters into the tier. So they have tried to recreate the sky from Mount Everest, which is a very nice touch, and it works very well. I love it. You have that crescendo in terms of the depthness of the blue. It is very full in details, and you can actually kind of see it here. But most of all, the glass has been treated to almost a 99% anti-reflective coating. And this is just something fantastic. It is quite beautiful to just see the dial in which no reflections are there, and it seems like it doesn't even has the glass. So I think this is one watch that has really hit the target. The sizes are obviously into the higher end because we have a 42 mil case in this case. Definitely it's a little bit bigger than the usual, and especially now that people tend to go lower. 40 is kind of ideal in some cases, but this 42 works great actually, because with a 12 millimeters, almost 13 in thickness, which is not that much, and a very low lug to lug, it fits almost every wrist, like many other Seikos, like the one that I'm wearing at the moment, for example. So excellent watch, excellent choice. Really a nice finishing. Weird choice for the clasp, but it's enjoyable at the end of the day. Even it's not a full mil clasp, it is quite enjoyable, and it has this quick release system that works pushing down here. Um, how it works on a wrist? So this is another limited European edition, old now, so of one of the Seiko prospects. So this is my 18.5 millimeters wrist, and here you have it. It works quite nicely. So definitely this is number one hit on target. Let's move to number two. Well, not in real order, but in terms of watches. And I will leave the Navigator for the last, the Seiko King. So Seiko King was relaunched already a couple of years ago. They relaunched their unique design, shape, size, because we're talking here of a smaller watch with 38 millimeters. So definitely it is a Seiko for smaller wrists, at least in original design. And you have that, as I was saying, Seiko King was a hit in terms of re-editions. It's a vintage piece that many look for, and even the vintage pieces are quite high in terms of price. For 1,700 more or less that they were costing at launch, it is actually quite easier nowadays to get one of the new ones. And it has an excellent movement inside the 6L35, obviously not Grand Seiko level, but still very good movement here. But what I like the most about this watch is the elegance, the simplicity of it, and how it just sits in your wrist. What's the difference with this 2023 edition? So here what the difference is actually the bracelet, because instead of having an integrated end link, it has an end link that seems to be just not part of the case, and it works still very fine in terms of its kind of direct polygomos. It's square all over, and it brings you this unique kind of feeling when you are wearing it, and the end part, it sits there and you realize it's not part of the case, but at the same time it works almost as if it is. So I think that small change actually did a very good job. How does it wear on a higher medium wrist like myself? Well, it wears actually quite nice. Again, Seiko nails it. Even in small size watches, it can be wearable, but almost any wrist size. So there it goes. For me, this was the second hit on target. Colorways wise, you can choose whatever you like. I think all of them work quite nicely. The black one has these very nice brown touches. You have the blue one, which is lovely. So it's just a matter of choice. I choose the green one. It's quite elegant, and it doesn't seem green unless you hit it on the right light. And third, but not least, because this is a piece that is becoming one of my favorites, we have the Navigator. The only pity is that it doesn't say Navigator like the original piece on the dial. But apart from that, it's almost a 100% re-edition of the original vintage piece. And it's just perfect. I love it. Um, and I was at the start, I was really, really in doubt of getting this. And the reason for that was not the design, the color, but was actually the size. So this is the movement is a 6R54. So you have the higher tiered Seiko GMT movements here. It's a 4,000 piece. But as I was saying, the size was a little bit tricky when I saw that this was actually only a 38.5 millimeters. True, I have the Seiko King right here and it was part of the collection. But if you see compared to the Seiko King seems to be bigger. And the reason for that is the dial that takes mostly all of the case. While here you actually have a bezel and you have a very small dial on it with the further complications of obviously the GMT. So it makes the watch look smaller. The case, it's perfect, how it sits, the design, and I have to say, I have fallen in love. There was quite a big hype around the internet. People were saying this is perfect, and I have to agree. This is a perfect watch, a perfect vintage feeling if you want to have a vintage feeling on that, and it works quite fantastic. Um, Only pity, and it broke my heart. The watch fall the other day when I was trying to put it on my wrist, and as you can see, it has a very, very nasty scratch on the bezel. But hey, what can we do, right? So anyway, I hope you all have fun, and I wanted to share very quickly this video with all of you of my 3 favorite Seiko watches of 2023. Tell me which ones are yours. I'm more than happy to hear your point of views and opinion. I hope that this has been useful, and if you like it, please subscribe and see you in another video very soon. Take care.